Hello, friends, and welcome to the 2012 Canadian Ball Hockey Championships Women's A-Pool semifinal action. Presenting the Toronto Shamrocks, representing the province of Ontario, versus the Manitoba Rage, representing the province of Manitoba. Should be a great game. I'm Elio Pascuzzo, alongside Mike Schweigart, with the play-by-play and color commentary as we get ready for our national anthem.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the Canadian National Anthem.
Should be a great semifinal as these teams met in round-robin action, battled to a 1-all tie. Toronto Shamrocks, coming out of the province of Ontario, finished second in their division, and Manitoba Rage won their division during the round-robin. So we're looking for an exciting game tonight. In net for the Toronto Shamrocks will be Katie Passfield. And in goal for the Manitoba Rage, number 1, Delane Bryan. As we get set to go, women's semifinal action, the winner punches their ticket to the gold medal game, while the loser will have to settle for a bronze medal matchup. We'll have updates on the men's semifinal featuring the Vancouver Falcons and Newfoundland Black Force throughout this game as action is underway from Edmonton, Alberta. Shamrocks with possession. Jennifer Brine drops it off for Lexi Hoffmeyer. In for Brine, deflected just wide. And Manitoba will clear via Chantel Graham. She'll bump it ahead to number 10, Chantal Larocque, one of the leading scorers in the tournament for Manitoba. Behind the net, Shelley Cockerill battling. Brime comes away with it for the Shamrocks and will settle it down via Brittany Smith. Solid back end, this Toronto Shamrocks team. Defensively very strong. Becca King retreats for Manitoba, sends it up deep and punched in by Jocelyn Asuncion. Amy Dawson, shot from the point, doesn't get through. Nice shot by Amy Coates that just goes wide of the net. Rage with some pressure, and the Shamrocks will be all too happy to relieve that pressure with an icing. 18:29 left. Rage with the early advantage, Mike.
LEO Amy Dawson on the Manitoba Rage is a pickup from the Nova Scotia program, who unfortunately could not attend this year. Amy's an alumni from the 2011 Women's World Championship Team Canada that won silver in Bratislava.
These two teams both worthy of playing in the gold medal game. Only time will tell who will come out on top tonight. Lots of dignitaries in the crowd. Team Canada women's coach Chris Pellerin, herself a gold medalist back in '87 at the first Nationals, as the women celebrate 25 years of national championships in 2012. Defending champ Vanier White Lightning still in this tournament. They'll be in the other semifinal. They'll be playing Dec Hockey de la Capitale from Quebec. Face-off won by the Shamrocks. Mallory Johnston patiently wings it around the board to Megan Arts. Arts wheeling down the left side, tries a drop pass, nicely read, but Catherine Sheriff wins that battle. Shoots it towards the net, just wide. Back comes Manitoba. Graham chips it ahead. Referee wisely waves it off, and Renee Blanchard for the Shamrocks will retreat. Sheriff being pressured, and Manitoba keeps it in with Larocque. Blanchard. She'll just chip it in and be happy to get a change, and that'll be icing. 17:21 remaining. First period. 2012 Canadian Ball Hockey Championships, live from Edmonton, Alberta. The Toronto Shamrocks and the Manitoba Rage.
The Manitoba Rage seem to have quite a forecheck on here. That's the second icing for the Toronto Shamrocks now, and we'll see how this goes in the future if they're able to break through this Manitoba forecheck.
It's bend but don't break defense of the Shamrocks. Been very successful so far in this tournament. They find themselves one step away from a gold medal opportunity. Ball goes deep back into the Shamrock zone. Brittany Smith, she'll log a lot of minutes for this Shamrock team. 3 minutes into the first. Diana Brown sends it ahead. Kept in momentarily, and yes, Catherine O'Rourke feeds it ahead, and a shot just goes wide of Katie Passfield. Becca King with the drop back to Squires. In deep. Back to Squires. Shoots. That's blocked. Squires regroups. Brown will send it out of play. 3:30 into this game. 16:30 left in the first period. The Toronto Shamrocks, 2011 Ontario Provincial Women's Champions, which punched their ticket to Edmonton. And this tournament, one of two Ontario teams left standing, along with the aforementioned Vanier United. Quebec represented with Dec Hockey La Capitale, and of course Manitoba with the Rage. Four worthy teams battling out for women's A Gold in 2012. Back to the point as Brittany Smith tries to hammer one. She'll come off for a change. Back to Blanchard. She'll shoot. And that's blocked. Spin around move by Melody Howard, and it's loose in front. And Delane Bryan makes her first big save of this match, Mike. And the Shamrocks starting to put it together with some offense.
Yes, Delane Bryan from Manitoba. Another Team Canada alumni from 2011. Silver medalist. And in the last two Nationals, we've seen fantastic performances from her throughout the tournament.
Of course, this tournament in the women's division being held in Edmonton for the third time back in 91 and 95. Both of those times won by teams from Ontario, the Canadiana Red Wings. Sheriff. Back to Johnston. She'll send it through, and a nice deflection by Arts. And Bryan turn that aside. Schnell for Manitoba. She'll feed it ahead to Graham. Intercepted nicely by Johnston on the pinch. She'll keep pursuit of that ball. Battling alongside Cockerill. Goes back to the point, and a blast by Sheriff goes wide. Howard Melody Howard, nifty player for the Shamrocks. Sends it for a shot by Jennifer Bryan, who gets the rebound off the wall and has a second attempt on goal, but Bryan is equal to the task and keeps this game scoreless. 15:02 remaining. Elio Pascuzzo alongside Mike Schweigart, bringing you live action of the 2012 Canadian Ball Hockey Championships from Edmonton, Alberta. Millwood Recreation Center is the venue, and we have some great action going on tonight. Smith, shot fired wide. On the far end, back to Brown. She'll let one rip as the Shamrocks apply some constant pressure. Manitoba gives it up, and Smith fires. Blocked. And now a 3-on-1 develops for Manitoba. And a shot saved by Passfield. Smith tips it around, but a good pinch by the Manitoba Rage defenseman as O'Rourke chips it ahead to Coates. Coates back to O'Rourke. Doesn't connect, and here comes Mormeal. Jen Mormeal can't connect with her teammate. And Diana Brown will settle things down to Brittany Smith. Mormeal sends it in. Hoffmeyer on the chase. Lindsay Hogstein sends it in. Schnell. Back to Wallach. Lisa Wallach takes a shot. Smith with the glove save. Victoria Lovell. Wheeling. Dealing. Schnell at the point. Opportunity presents itself. Takes the shot. Rebound. Glorious chance for the Manitoba Range, but Katie Passfield makes 2 saves. And this game remains scoreless. 13:36 left in the first period, Mike.
We've got an update from the other arena, Elio. Newfoundland is all over the Vancouver Falcons early on and scored 37 seconds in. Justin Pender with the assist from Chris Sparks and Andrew Brennan to take a 1-0 lead on the Vancouver Falcons.
Newfoundland Black Horse, undefeated in the round robin, buy into the semis, and now up 1-0. Here comes Megan Arts. She'll take a shot. Karam's just wide, off the boards. Still pressure. Sheriff with the shot, and Bryan with the save and covers up nicely to prevent any further damage. Yes, that men's semifinal, Mike, very interesting one with Newfoundland Black Horse, the 2010 champions, facing a team in Vancouver that's really on a roll, having won their last 2 round-robin games and today's quarterfinal matchup.
Yes, tonight's game is going to have a big effect. Newfoundland's had that little bit extra rest, and you know, the legs should be there a little more. It'll be interesting to see how the Falcons respond.
Back to live action with Rage and the Shamrocks. That's sent in deep by Chantel Graham. Chased diligently by Mallory Johnston. She's forechecked by number 10, Chantel Larocque. Larocque wins that battle. Tries to set it in front. Goes back to the point. Shot! Blocked by Jennifer Bryan. Bryan battles along the boards. And here come the Shamrocks. Renee Blanchard. Can't get it out on a nice pinch by Jocelyn Larocque. Larocque patiently up high, wrists it towards the net. Score! Manitoba Rage strikes first as Jocelyn Larocque with a nice patient move, setting up the alley, gives her Manitoba Rage a 1-0 lead. 7 minutes and 36 seconds into this game, Mike. Manitoba is on top early.
What a great shot from the point there, Elio, with some traffic in front. The goaltender appeared like she didn't even see it, and the ball just went right past her on the blocker side.
So, the Toronto Shamrocks, as in the round-robin game against Manitoba, fall behind 1-0. So, just advised that was in effect tipped in by Chantel Graham on the point shot from Larocque. As Diana Brown lets one go for the Shamrocks, and even 12 minutes remaining in the first period. Nice play there by Jocelyn Larocque with her patience, setting it up And then number 21, Chantel Graham, gets credit for the goal on the deflection.
Chantel Graham is a pickup for Manitoba from Kelowna. Actually, a team that went in the 2012 Western Canadian Women's Regional Championships this year. They were a pickup team with no league there. And BC Ball Hockey had created a local team to try and develop the sport. And she was one of the fantastic players in the tournament. Never playing ball hockey before. This is her second tournament ever.
Well, she's on the board with the first goal in the Women's A semifinal. And the Shamrocks look to regroup behind Brittany Smith, who will take her time as her teammates look to set up some sort of counterattack. Brine tips it ahead to Lexi Hoffmeyer. Into Brine with an opportunity. And that's deflected off the Manitoba defenseman. And Lexi Hoogstein takes over. To Wallach. Wallach can't connect. And Smith sends it back. Arts with an opportunity. She'll flip it in the air. Bryan can't handle it. Rebound Sheriff. She'll have an attempt at it, but can't. Howard trying to displace the Manitoba player from possession, but can't. Lisa Wallach now in the corner battling alongside Mallory Johnston. Johnston wins this battle and calmly feeds her teammate Sheriff. And here come the Shamrocks. Sheriff sends it in deep and chases after it. Jocelyn Larocque, the assist on the first Manitoba goal with possession. Nice wide pass to Lindsay Hoogstein. Ball goes into the corner as Chantel Larocque chases it in front. Oh, and Passfield has to be on the ball with that save. Back to the point. Larocque. Again, Larocque shoots. Deflection right through the crease, but nobody there for the Rage. Chantel Larocque now sends it back to the point. To Jocelyn Larocque. Manitoba with some constant pressure here in the last 30 seconds along the periphery, but nonetheless some constant pressure. Mallory Johnston battles as Manitoba retains possession. Squires shoots. That's deflected in front. Megan Arts gets it out to Jennifer Brine. And Brine tries to make a move, loses her balance. And Manitoba regains possession. Becca King sends it in. King chases it down. In the slot. Oh, couldn't connect there on a Manitoba range opportunity. Penalty coming up to the Shamrocks as King sends it back to the point. O'Rourke feeds Schnell. Schnell with the shot. Passfield with the save. Diana Brown will touch the ball, and we will have a Manitoba Rage power play.
Let's see how this Manitoba team sets up here. They're very well known for their power play over the years at the Nationals. And, it'll be interesting to see the defending team on the penalty kill, see how they can respond to that.
Big challenge here for the Toronto Shamrocks as they're down 1-0 and now face a 2-minute disadvantage on the penalty to Lexi Hoffmeyer.
We do have an update, Elio, from the men's semifinal action. It's 2-0 Newfoundland. Justin Pender with his second of the game from outside the blue line with assist to Mike Stinziani.
So Black Horse out of Newfoundland take a 2-0 lead in the men's semifinal. Here, Manitoba, 2-minute power play. Set it up, and that's intercepted by Mallory Johnston, and she'll send it down. As Delane Bryan leaves it for Jocelyn Larocque. Amy Dawson on the power play as well here for the Rage. They'd love to get a second marker here in the back end of the first period. Nice anticipation by Johnston, and she'll force the Rage to regroup. Chantel Graham also on this power play, along with Shelley Cockerill. LaRock. The Rage try to get possession, and they do, but they turn it over, and Megan Arts has an opportunity shorthanded. Chased down by Dawson. Arts shoots. Bryan with the save. Chantel LaRock turns it around. Sheriff is there first to send it out of play. And with 49 seconds remaining in this first power play opportunity here in the first period, the Manitoba Rage, behind the goal by Chantel Graham, lead the Toronto Shamrocks 1-0. Draw one by Manitoba. They'll send it in deep. Still time to work something on this power play. Possession by Coates. She'll send it back. LaRock. To Becca King. King. Challenge there, and number 9, Jennifer Bryan, sends it deep. Jocelyn LaRock, one of the leading scorers, along with Chantel LaRock on this Manitoba Rage team throughout the round robin, sends it in deep. Brittany Smith chases it down, fires it to Jennifer Bryan. And Sheriff, back to Bryan. Nice little give and go on the penalty kill. Deflected off the Shamrock player, and LaRock trying to do it with her feet, but turns it over. Sheriff with some nifty stick handling, shoots. Bryan with the save as the teams return to 5-on-5 hockey. 6:30 left in the first period. You're watching the 2012 Women's Canadian Ball Hockey Championships live from Edmonton, Alberta, as these two teams battling it out for a spot in tomorrow's gold medal game. As mentioned previously, these teams met in the round robin, tying 1-1 as Manitoba's goal was scored by Chantel LaRock. Shamrocks was answered by Mallory Johnston. Smith faking, wristing. Bryan turns it aside. Dawson intercepted by Smith on a nice pinch. Smith to Arts. Arts towards the net, but too high for Lexi Hoffmeyer. Ball is sent out, gloved ahead, but not out. It's Diana Brown keeps it in, and now Hoffmeyer retains possession and the zone for the Shamrocks. Brown sends it back in. Schnell, though, as Manitoba frantically trying to regain possession here. And will not get the ball out, as Brittany Smith with the nifty move. Smith moves in, shoots, just wide. Arts behind the net. Arts circles, wheels. Can't get it towards the front of the net. Amy Dawson gently gets it to Lisa Wallach, who sends it down. And finally, Manitoba relieves the pressure behind Hoogstein. Smith tries to get it out. That's kept in by the captain. Chantel LaRock behind the net. LaRock looking for an open teammate, and will find one in Graham, who shoots. That's blocked by Smith. Graham again. Just wide. Cockerill. Back to Graham. To LaRock. On the cycle in front to Cockerill. She can't get it. And Brittany Smith is just all too happy to get that ball out of play. Mike, 4:48 left in the first, and Manitoba pouring it on.
Yes, Manitoba Rage's coach, Bernie Young, must be very happy with his young squad start here. Take an early lead in this game, and the Toronto team looks to be fighting back. They've been put on a little bit of pressure, and look for them to come on with a goal here fairly soon. I got to have a feeling.
Of course, Bernie's counterpart on the other side, the coach for the Shamrocks, Flora Panunzio, tries to motivate her team to even up this game as Manitoba continues with pressure. Cockerill sends it back to the point. Wrist shot in, deflected into the corner. Cockerill being hounded by Sheriff. Sends it back to LaRock, who tries to blast one, but that's blocked by Melody Howard. LaRock to Becca King. King sends it in. Oh, and just fails to connect with Chantel LaRock. Almost giving Manitoba a 2-0 lead if she could have connected. Melody Howard now still battling. Jocelyn Larocque to Becca King, but she'll manage to keep it in, but Sheriff takes over for the Shamrocks, and she stick handles her way out of a phone booth and out of trouble and tries to get by, and she'll draw the penalty with 3:38 left as nifty stick handling by Catherine Sheriff results in a 2-minute power play. Manitoba, number 2, Becca King, will go in for tripping Shamrocks with their first power play, and we've got an update.
Yes, Elio. Newfoundland takes a 3-0 lead on a power play goal by Sean Wadden, assisted by Paulo Musto and Chris Sparks. There's 9:05 to go in the first period. Newfoundland looks to be taking it to the Vancouver Falcons. Those legs must be a little tired from that tough match against Manitoba today.
Yes, as we wait here, stopping the action on the timeout by the Shamrocks, but the Vancouver Falcons had a great game today against the Manitoba Selects in that quarterfinal matchup, but you knew fatigue could be a factor as Newfoundland Black Horse 4-0 record gets that bye, and basically they're giving it to the Vancouver Falcons probably in the run game right now, because I could just see fatigue being a factor, having to play 2 games at this level in one day.
Absolutely, and furthermore, I got to report that Terry Ryan is not in the lineup tonight. He's been having some kidney stone issues the last couple nights. He was in the hospital 2 nights ago and again today, so no Terry Ryan, which is always a big factor for that team, but they seem to be stepping up without him there and taking a leadership role.
On-floor and off-floor leader Terry Ryan for Newfoundland Black Horse. They'll miss him, but the rest of the team is coming up big, as we can see, as they lead the Vancouver Falcons on the men's side 3-0 in the first period. Here, Shamrocks with an opportunity to even this game. 2-minute power play on the trip to Becca King. Mallory Johnston sends it in for Arts. Arts gains the zone. Patiently looking for some room to maneuver. Feeds it to Brine. Brine. Shamrocks looking for an opportunity. Brine tips it in. And that ball goes out of play. Face-off will remain in the Manitoba Rage end. 25 seconds into this man advantage. Shamrocks power play looked good so far during the round robin. Let's see if that can carry over in a crucial, pivotal semifinal game. Brine with the draw. Smith wheels back to her quarterback position. Feeds it to Hoffmeyer. Hoffmeyer shoots. Brine not able to deflect that, but retains possession nonetheless. Brine, she'll send it across. No one there. Manitoba with an opportunity, but Hoffmeyer takes possession. Battling alongside Schnell. Loses. Hoffmeyer. Save Bryan. And Bryan will freeze it with 1:04 remaining in the first.
Another great play there by Delane Bryan, the Manitoba Rage goaltender, coming up for big for her team like she always does.
Manitoba Rage hanging on to a 1-0 lead on a goal by number 21, Chantel Graham, assisted by Jocelyn Larocque. Midway through the first, and they have 1:04 left to kill on this disadvantage. Ball sent in the corner where Squires battles alongside Brine. Hoffmeyer comes out with it, sends it in front, and Arts can't send it in. Johnston with the blast, and like she's done so far in this first period, Delane Bryan has turned everything aside. Manitoba doing a good job so far on the penalty kill, but the Shamrocks with an opportunity by Mallory Johnston to tie it there. Brine wins the draw, gets it back to Brittany Smith. Johnston patiently to Hoffmeyer. Down low, Brine. Brine wheeling. Displaced by Jocelyn Larocque. And that will go to Chantel Larocque and send it down to kill off valuable seconds. As Mallory Johnston's chased down by the Rage forward Cockerill. Cockerill sends it in front for an opportunity, and Amy Coates with a glorious shorthanded chance. As Cockerill, with some diligent forechecking, gets that ball out to Coates. And Katie Passfield has to be on the ball there to stop that one and keep this deficit at 1 for the Shamrocks. 16 seconds remaining in the penalty, 1:54 remaining in an entertaining first period. The Women's A National Semifinal from Edmonton, Alberta. With the winner have an opportunity to win the national championship tomorrow. Long ball doesn't succeed. Nonetheless, Brine is there to pick up the junk. Brine curls around. Brine shoots. Brine with the save. Rebound Arts. Back to Brine, in front to Arts. They can't connect. Arts doesn't give up though, but Becca King just jumps out of the box as we're 5-on-5, and here comes O'Rourke. O'Rourke tries the cross pass, but nicely read by Brittany Smith. Dipsy doodles around 1. Chips it ahead to Howard. Howard shoots! Bryan with the save. Howard again. Just wide. Sends it back, and Coates has no other option just to send it down and relieve the pressure. As icing is called with 1:03 remaining in the first, Manitoba successful on the penalty kill, Mike, and holds on to the 1-0 advantage.
Absolutely. The referees for tonight's game, we have from New Brunswick, Andrew Ellis, and from Manitoba, Melissa Muir. We'd like to thank all of the officials this week for another fantastic event at the 2012 Canadian Ball Hockey Association Men's and Women's National Championship. They always do a fantastic job for us, and we're very grateful and lucky to have these great individuals for us.
The best of the best in officiating are here at the National Championships. And ball hockey benefits from it. Sheriff along the wall. 5-on-5 action. Less than 50 seconds left. Sheriff back to Johnston. Shoots! And that just squirts wide. As Hoogstein sends it behind the net. But that's intercepted by Melody Howard. Howard fighting for the Shamrocks. Still fighting as Squires tries to stop her in her tracks. Goes around the wall, and Mallory Johnston keeps it in. Manitoba relieves pressure and sends it deep. Renee Blanchard will be back to pick it up. 15 seconds remaining in the opening stanza. Marmiel up to Sheriff. Sheriff tries to get it over to Howard, doesn't succeed, and here comes the counterattack with 5 seconds left. Larocque. Larocque goes wide, might not have enough time and won't. And that'll do it for the end of the first period with the score. The Manitoba Rage 1, the Toronto Shamrocks 0. You're watching the 2012 Women's Canadian Ball Hockey Championships National Semifinal from Edmonton, Alberta. We'll be back momentarily with more action. Welcome back to the 2012 Canadian Ball Hockey Championships. We're proud to be joined by Chris Pellerin, head coach for Team Canada's women's national team. Chris, great semifinals so far. What do you look for in this game and in the second period?
What I'm going to be looking for is how the players are going to adapt. They start off kind of flat. Both teams are a bit hesitant. They have to go for it, and it's forechecking, it's rolling it out, cycling out of the corners with the ball and getting the shots on net. And who's going to want it the most? So you got two great teams here. You got both teams have had national team players on them, and they're trying to prove their point and trying to get up on the scoreboard.
Now, this week is a special week for you because the women's players are vying for a spot at next year's World Championships, representing Team Canada in the women's division, which is hosted by Canada in St. John's, Newfoundland. What can you tell our viewers that what you look for in a player as they try to succeed and make that squad?
Work ethic is key. Coming in, being prepared physically, mentally. Being great ambassador of the game. You could be a great athlete, but you also got to be a great ambassador of the game. And just having the finesse, the ability to play, the commitment. Both time-wise, financially. All those aspects of it. Because we are not funded whatsoever. The players do pay out of their own pockets to come to these events. Some of them are fortunate to get sponsors, but very dedicated individuals that we're looking for.
And on another note, this being the 25th year of Women's National Championships, holds a special place in your heart. 1987, first Nationals. You were part of that inaugural championship team, Canadiana Cougars. Coming back to the province of Alberta for it, how does it feel?
It feels pretty good. I would have never expected to still be in a game 25 years later, and thinking back about that this year would be our 25th anniversary. It brings great memories. A time in my life where when winning that championship was a whirl. I was on Cloud 9 probably for a couple of weeks, and just to come back here, it's just it brings back great memories.
Well, Hall of Famer on the floor and off the floor, Chris Pellerin, head coach, Team Canada Women's National Team. We'll be back with more action after this. Welcome back to Millwoods Recreation Center in Edmonton, Alberta. Live coverage of the 2012 Canadian Women's Ball Hockey Championship continues. National semifinal action, Manitoba Rage versus the Toronto Shamrocks. We're at the intermission with the Rage holding a 1-0 lead on a goal by Chantel Graham, assisted by Jocelyn Larocque. Elio Pascuzzo, proud to be alongside Mike Schweigart for this broadcast. And Mike, as we look towards the second period, let's look back on the first period and what did Manitoba do well to get that 1-0 lead and keep it?
Well, Manitoba put the pressure on early and managed to get that first all-important goal, especially in the women's game. The second 10 minutes of the period, Toronto kind of took it to them and had the pressure in their end. So we'll see how Manitoba can respond in this half, coming back with the 1-0 lead.
It's all to play for the Toronto Shamrocks here in the second, trailing 1-0 in a do-or-die semifinal matchup. Rage with the early pressure. Shamrocks will try to clear it, but Jocelyn Larocque patiently sends it over as it goes in front with an opportunity for number 21, Chantel Graham. And she'll get it back. Shoot! And Katie Passfield with the stop as Manitoba comes oh so close to taking a 2-goal lead here. But Passfield turns the Rage away and keeps it at a 1-goal deficit 30 seconds into the second.
Chantel Graham again with another great chance there, Elio. She's looking very strong this game.
Yes, Jocelyn Larocque and Chantel Graham playing well. Larocque with the wrist shot. And that'll come out to Hoffmeyer. Lexi Hoffmeyer with an opportunity for the Shamrocks. Chips it ahead nicely. Chases it down with Larocque. Tries to send it in front. Bryan intercepts it. Shoots. Delane Bryan with the save. Manitoba tries to send it out, and that'll go down the floor for icing. Just under a minute expired in this second period. Toronto Shamrocks representing the province of Ontario, trailing the Manitoba Rage 1-0. And in the history books here, so many national championships on the women's side. Manitoba so close in 2009 in Winnipeg, losing the gold medal game to the Ontario Rebels and winning that silver. But they'd like to close the deal in 2012. Howard to Sheriff behind the net for the Shamrocks. Sheriff trying to get it in front. As Squires is on her, and it's backhanded by Megan Arts. And the Shamrocks have got one by Delane Bryan. Megan Arts with the backhand, and we're even at 1. Great play by Sheriff behind the net, working hard, and Arts is the benefactor.
Absolutely, what a fantastic play. You know, you really need to capitalize on those opportunities, and you know, the Toronto Shamrocks, they've been working hard, as we mentioned earlier, and hard work paid off right there.
As Coach Flora Panunzio must have given a strong halftime speech as the Shamrocks even it up. Less than 70 seconds into the second, and that ball will hit the ceiling. 18:37 left. We have a brand new game in the National Women's Semifinal A Pool in Edmonton. Shamrocks 1, Manitoba 1. Face-off now deep in the Shamrock zone. Sheriff wins it to Blanchard, who sends it back to Mallory Johnston. Johnston. Nicely done to Sheriff. Sheriff banks it off to Arts. Arts with a chance now, as she'll run it down behind the end line. Arts being chased there by Amy Dawson. Sheriff backhands it, tries to get in front to Howard, can't. Loose ball in front, and referee blows it dead as the net was dislodged. 18:10 remaining, second period. Manitoba and Toronto tied at 1. The Canadian Women's Ball Hockey Championships in Edmonton, Alberta. Face-off deep in the Manitoba end. It'll be Cockerell and Bryan. Cockerell wins it back to Squires. Squires sends it behind the net. Larocque with time, and will utilize that time and space. It's Cockerell and Chantel Larocque try to create some space, but the pass is intercepted by Bryan on the anticipation. Bryan in the slot, and a shot by Moormill goes wide. Graham tries to send it out, but Brittany Smith keeps it in. Hoffmeyer with an opportunity, and that shot just goes wide. Larocque behind the net. Larocque with speed chips it up to Graham. She can't get by Brittany Smith, but now she does. Graham back to Cockerell. This Manitoba team loves to run. Cockerell displaced, and Hoffmeyer gets it by the defender. Hoffmeyer all alone, shoots just wide. Megan Arts now, the goal scorer. She'll shoot, and that'll get blocked and sent down, waved off as Blanchard gives chase. Becca King, hot on her tail. Sheriff to Blanchard. Up to Howard, but that won't get out. And that's kept in by the Manitoba defenseman Dawson. Rage still with possession and the zone. Dawson shoots. Howard deflects that. Coates. Amy Coates. Sends it back to Cockerell. Cockerell tries to get it back to Coates, and Sheriff's there to intercept, but can't get it out. Schnell tries to keep it in, but here comes Howard. Melody Howard gains the zone. Chips it blindly into open area, and that's intercepted by Manitoba. O'Rourke. Johnston. And it's fed back into the zone, and Sheriff will get back there for the Shamrocks. Less than 16 minutes to play. And that'll hit the ceiling, and play will be stopped. 4:13 into the second period. Manitoba 1, Shamrocks 1.
Well, Elio, this has been another fantastic swimming event this week. And, Women's Team Canada staff, Coach Chris Pellerin and GM Paul Beal, they're going to have a very difficult job over the next month and a half selecting their team. There's been a lot of talent here this week, just showing how good the women's game is growing across Canada. And, we look forward to seeing what kind of selections they make to come up with our 2013 Women's Team Canada roster.
Should be a great tournament nonetheless in St. John's, Newfoundland, June 2013. Make your plans now. The men's and women's ISBHF World Championships. Ball sent in deep. Chased down by Squires. Time for Manitoba to create some offense as the Shamrocks seem to have gained a little bit of momentum. Brittany Smith. Smith chips it over, and Hoffmeyer tries to send it in, but that deflects back to Diana Brown. Brown will send it in, and the Shamrocks will change. Cockerell deflects it deep, and here's a break. LaRocque just can't get to that ball for an opportunity, and Howard has Graham right behind her, but that goes to Sheriff. Sheriff tries to get it up to Howard, and Howard will finally get it out of harm's way. LaRocque. Jocelyn LaRocque. Sends it deep, too far for Chantel LaRocque, and that'll be blown dead on the icing. 14:30 left in the second period. The Canadian Women's Ball Hockey Championships from Edmonton, Alberta. Mike?
Well, we have an update from next door. It's still 3-0 at the first intermission. Newfoundland is out shooting the Vancouver Falcons 15-3 in the first period. It appears from all reports that Vancouver is looking very tired from that earlier game. It looks like that buy into the semifinal was very positive for the Newfoundland Black Horse.
2010 men's national champions, Newfoundland Black Horse, looking to regain that title and looking good in the semis. As Melody Howard gains possession for the Shamrocks. Sheriff sends it deep. Delane Bryan loses possession, and Megan Arts, the goal scorer, retains. Back to Dawson. Dawson to Schnell. Schnell gets it out, and it's deflected ahead for Amy Coates. Coates to King. Over to O'Rourke, shoots. Pass field's there, and here comes Howard on the counterattack. Howard sending it as her teammate was going off on a line change, and Brittany Smith. Zone still kept by Manitoba. O'Rourke. Coates. Passfield steers that aside. O'Rourke behind the net to Becca King. Hoffmeyer sends it deep. LaRocque. As they battle alongside Moormeal and LaRocque engage. And there's a shot by Bryan. Turned aside by Delane Bryan. Back to the point. Diana Brown. Brittany Smith. She'll just send it back in deep. Hoffmeyer chase with Squires. Hoffmeyer to Moormeal. As Bryan tries to get it off her. Diana Brown with the shot from the point. That gets deflected into the corner. Shamrocks with some pressure, trying to take a lead here. Moormeal can't get it. And Becca King will send it off to the side as Coates tries to get it out and does. Brittany Smith, however, she's no stranger to offense, but she can't get around. And here comes LaRocque. Chantel LaRocque shoots. Passfield with the save. 12:21 remaining in the second period, Mike, and we're still knotted up at 1 as the counterattack visible in Manitoba's game.
Another great opportunity there for the Manitoba Rage. But Katie Passfield, she's sure stepping up for Toronto. She's playing very well this game too. We've talked a little bit about Delane Bryan tonight, but Katie Passfield, she's had a great event as well for the Toronto Shamrocks.
.12:21 left and a penalty called to the Manitoba Rage of the 4-minute variety. So the Shamrocks with a glorious opportunity in the second period to break this deadlock. Mallory Johnston. She'll send it into Sheriff. He'll gain the zone. Back to Smith and they'll regroup. Smith takes a shot. That goes wide. Arts trying to chase it down with Bryan. Bryan wins it. Over to Arts. Back to the point. Smith feeds it over to Sheriff. She'll shoot, and that's deflected by Smith. Arts. Sheriff. Sheriff taking her time. Shoots it towards the net, and Smith with a nifty deflection. Goes just wide of Bryan in the net. Johnston. Mallory Johnston. Sheriff. Sends it to Brittany Smith again. And doesn't connect. Smith, though, retains possession. Arts comes around and tries to shove one by Delane Bryan in the Manitoba goal. But Mallory Johnston is there now to keep possession. 2:48 left in the power play. Bryan tries to feed Sheriff. Little too far. Smith. Johnston. Back to the quarterback. Over to Sheriff. Shamrock's patience. Bryan turns around and fires, and that goes just wide. As Arts was looking for a loose ball there. Mallory Johnston now can't do anything, and Manitoba will relieve pressure. Approaching the halfway mark of this 4-minute power play, as well as the halfway mark of the second period. Toronto Shamrocks 1, Manitoba Rage 1. National semifinal in the women's division, live from Edmonton, Alberta. Sheriff gains possession but loses it and then regains it. And she'll send it back. Brittany Smith with the shot, and that's blocked. And Coates will calmly send it down and give chase on the penalty kill. Coates trying to kill valuable time. Leaves it along the boards for Brittany Smith. As the Shamrocks look to capitalize here and take a 2-1 lead. Arts dumps it in, but Jocelyn Larocque wheels, fires, and barely gets it out as Sheriff couldn't corral that ball. Hoffmeyer trying to gain the zone, and does. Diana Brown. Hoffmeyer tries to feed it across, and it gets through to Sheriff. Sheriff being chased, and Squires tries to get it out, and does. 1 minute remaining in this power play opportunity. 9:21 left in the second. Sheriff gains the zone. Shamrocks look to regroup here on the power play. Rage doing a good job keeping them to the periphery. Shot goes in. O'Rourke turns around and fires it out. Rage make a change on the penalty kill. Wholesale for Manitoba. Blanchard. She'll send it deep. But Delane Bryan is there. And she'll get a whistle, Mike. 8:49 left in the second period. A 1-1 deadlock in Edmonton.
The Shamrocks had a great opportunity there earlier, Elio. Pass across the middle to the other side. Jenny Bryan streaking into the slot. Got a good pass, had a very good opportunity there, but just missed the net.
So close, but no cigar for the Shamrocks in this power play. They still got time. 25 seconds. Rebound. Bryan with a couple of saves. As Bryan tried to score, and Sheriff gets the rebound. And Delane Bryan keeping everything out for the Rage. As Cockerill sends it out and down the floor. 7 seconds left in this man advantage, and for all intents and purposes, we'll go 5-on-5 now with 8:21 left in the period. Jenny Bryan with speed. Oh, and Delane Bryan with a nice save as Jennifer Bryan with an opportunity there. All alone in front. Brittany Smith can't keep it in, but Shamrocks clear the zone, and a turnover. Cockerell feeds it ahead to LaRock, back to Cockerell. Graham, the opening goal scorer for Manitoba, sends it back to Jocelyn LaRock, who sends it towards the net. Cockerell tries to feed it in front. Mallory Johnston's there, and Johnston will just relieve pressure and send it down. But Delane Bryan tries to catch the Shamrocks on a line change. LaRock sends it in deep. End-to-end action here in the Women's A semifinal. Manitoba and Toronto. Blanchard. Mormill. Can't corral it. Diana Brown now tries to get it out. And Sheriff now trying to dodge the Manitoba defender. Megan Arts can't get it out. But Jen Mormill does to Megan Arts. Arts with an opportunity, shoots just wide. Squires behind the net to LaRock. LaRock being hounded by Mormill. LaRock gets by and creates some space. And now feeds it up to number 5, Lovell. Victoria Lovell. Back to LaRock. And Blanchard will just chip it ahead and out of danger. 6.5 minutes remaining in the second period. Fingernails being bitten as we speak, as the winner of this game will go to the gold medal matchup tomorrow afternoon, and the loser will have to settle for a bronze medal matchup. 6:20 left in the second. Manitoba 1, Toronto 1.
Hello, I think we'd all like to take the opportunity to thank Wild Rose Ball Hockey Association and all of their volunteers, all of their executives. Without them, this event couldn't have been the great success that it's turning out to this week.
Ditto on that, Mike. A great organizing committee put together by the Wild Rose Ball Hockey Association. The camera work splendid all week long, and that's why we're bringing you end-to-end live action from the National Ball Hockey Championships. Schnell now for Manitoba as they look to create some momentum late in the second. Here comes Hoffmeyer to Howard. Melody Howard sends it in deep. Still wins it and tries to regain possession. Battling with Amanda Schnell. Amanda Schnell kicks it ahead to Chantel LaRock. LaRock sends it behind to Becca King. We're approaching the 5-minute mark remaining in the second. As balls try to sent out, but Mallory Johnston keeps it in for the Shamrocks. Coates is displaced by Howard. Howard tries to keep possession, and Sheriff is there. Back to Brittany Smith. Smith shoots, and that deflects off Hoffmeyer's leg and just wide. King. Back to Dawson. 5 minutes remaining in the second period. Men's semifinal going on simultaneously. Newfoundland leading Vancouver 3-0 here. In the women's semifinal, it's deadlocked at 1. Jocelyn LaRock wheels and turns. Sends it to the captain, Cockerell. To LaRock. Cockerell behind the net. Being hounded by Blanchard. And Blanchard with a nice defensive play. Chips it ahead to Arts. And Arts will try to get it out, but that's kept in by Jocelyn LaRock. Graham now sends it back to Chantel LaRock, who shoots. Couldn't get anything on it, but Mallory Johnston can't get it out, and the ball is still in the Shamrock zone. Graham wrists it towards the net. Katie Passfield is there, though. And play will stop with 4:06 left. Mike, at this point in time, you don't want to be the team that has a defensive breakdown or a key turnover with the score deadlocked in a sudden death game.
Absolutely. Both teams are playing defensively very well. They're sticking to their checks and not getting caught watching the balls, getting caught on the give and goes, which is very important in this game. You get by a defender on the give and go, you get an open pass, usually the ball finds its way in the back of the net.
Yes, so many times you play hard throughout the game, and then one mental lapse costs you a key goal, and that is the winning goal in a one-goal game. Nonetheless, it's 1-1 with 4 minutes left as Hoogstein behind the Shamrock net. Looking for an opening and gets it through, and Passfield bats it out, and Brittany Smith is there. She'll curl, and she'll just send it out and out of danger deep into the Manitoba zone. Christine Squires to Jocelyn Larocque. Larocque with time chips it in and keeps chasing. Brine is there. But number 12, Nicole McGlennon, having opportunity and trying to create some offense, but that's going to be difficult with the likes of Brittany Smith there, but she can't get it out. And Christine Squires shoots, and Passfield uses the blocker to steer that aside. Smith, the end of a long shift, looking to get possession. She'll curl and feed it behind the net for her partner, Diana Brown. Brown tries to feed it, and that's intercepted by number 15, O'Rourke. But no danger yet. Hoffmeyer tries to tip it ahead, but Manitoba with a lot of pressure here in the late going of the second period. Ball goes out of play, but it looks like the Rage have a little more in the tank at this present time, Mike.
They certainly, the last couple minutes, seem to have been putting the pressure on. But Toronto Shamrocks, they are standing tall. And, there hasn't really been any great chances in the last little bit, but always very interesting to see what's going to happen here in this great women's game.
2:37 to go. Next one could be the winner. Mallory Johnston chases it down. Amy Dawson deflects it ahead. Here comes Becca King. Becca King, she'll send it in deep and keep going. Sheriff for the Shamrocks is there. Blanchard picks it up, but the support is there by Chantel Larocque. Chantel Larocque trying to wheel it around behind the net, but Mallory Johnston's there. Megan Arts then sends it off the boards, and a 2-on-2 develop. Megan Arts 1-on-1 can't succeed, but Sheriff with support will dump it in deep behind the net. Dawson on Arts. Arts gets it through the slot, but nobody there, and here comes Chantel Larocque. Chantel Larocque sends it deep. Diana Brown, first for the Shamrocks, to the ball, and she'll send it right around, but not out. Squires keeps it into Cockerell. Cockerell down low to Larocque. Larocque back to Cockerell. Cockerell fakes the shot. Stick handles, wheels, deals. Sends it back to Squires. Squires loses her footing, and that's a break for Howard on a 2-on-1. Back to Brine. Brine back to Howard, but a nice play by Jocelyn Larocque. Wonderful defensive play by the Manitoba defender. Howard behind the net with Graham. Howard looking for some space, but Graham just playing tenacious defense. Howard, though, still with the ball to Brine. Graham backhands it out and tries. O'Rourke joins in, sends it behind. Jocelyn Larocque dodges one there as Hoffmeyer falls. And here comes number 15, Catherine O'Rourke, for the Manitoba Rage with less than 30 seconds remaining in regulation. Back to Schnell. Schnell sends it deep. And Blanchard is there. 18 seconds left. And here comes Megan Arts. Megan Arts tries to put one towards the net and count. Now on the counter attack. Coates. Coates shoots, and that's blocked with 5 seconds left. That's sent in deep. And Blanchard will just kill out the clock, as this semifinal isn't decided in regulation. At the end of the second period, the Manitoba Rage won, the Toronto Shamrocks won, and Mike, we have overtime to decide a semifinal in the Women's National Championships.
Absolutely. This has been a great game played very tight by both teams. They both jumped out to goals in the first period. And for those who may not be aware, at the Women's National Championship. Semifinal action does go to sudden death overtime periods, 10-minute periods, and we'll keep going until somebody wins. We do have an update from next door, the Newfoundland Black Horse and Vancouver Falcons. Vancouver finally gets on the board on the power play on a goal scored by Daniel LaFortune, assisted by Inderman and Herman Sunner. The goal was scored at 11:52, so with just under half a period to go, Newfoundland is now up 3-1.
So, Vancouver on the men's side, not halfway through the second. They're still in that game. As Newfoundland Black Horse, a little work to do to punch their ticket to the gold medal game. Here, 1-1, the Manitoba Rage and the Toronto Shamrocks in an exciting women's A-Division national semifinal. We'll be back with the 2012 Canadian Ball Hockey Championships overtime in Edmonton coming right up. Welcome back to the Millwoods Recreation Center, the 2012 Women's Canadian Ball Hockey Championships. We're getting ready for overtime. The Manitoba Rage and the Toronto Shamrocks playing to a 1-1 tie. We have an update from the other arena between Vancouver and Newfoundland. Take it away, Mike.
And Newfoundland regains a 3-goal lead. Andrew Sweetland assists a goal to Patrick O'Keefe and Justin Pender to take the 4-1 lead with 8 minutes to go in the second period.
So Newfoundland Black Horse answers back on the Falcons' goal. They regain their 3-goal spread. Here, it's sudden death overtime to determine one of the entrants into tomorrow's women's A gold medal game. Jocelyn Larocque sends it deep. Icing's waved off as Brittany Smith chases it down. As a little bit of a miscommunication with the officials there. It's going to bring the ball all the way back. Mike, in those particular situations, you could have one of the official call icing and the other official actually waving off, but might be waving off an offside and not the icing. So the wave off of the offside takes place and then the icing overrules it.
Absolutely. You know, these officials do a great job, and, you know, you hear players and coaches, you know, they have comments about officiating, and, you know, the biggest comment I have to them is, you know, get on the floor and try officiating and see how difficult it is to miscommunicate. It's certainly not an easy job and not one that I would want to take on myself.
Yes, and I would venture a guess that's exactly what that call was. Icing and the wave off of the offside, but the icing still exists. Here comes Manitoba. 30 seconds into the first overtime frame. Fatigue may set in for both of these teams. Along the wall it is Manitoba. O'Rourke feeds it back, but that's intercepted by Diana Brown. And Jen Mormile tries to get it out, but kept in by number 16, Amanda Schnell. Schnell sends it in. Brittany Smith, whale of a game, as usual, for number 19. Solid. However, Coates gets an opportunity, and Howard's going to just try to get it out and feed it ahead to Megan Arts, who's one-on-one with Dawson. Chips it ahead nicely to the forehand, shoots! Delane Bryan with the save. Nice opportunity and a nice move by Arts. In front to Arts, and Arts deflects it wide. Watched by Dawson. Arts still retains possession. Goes to the forehand. Shoves that one wide. Becca King now for Manitoba. Tired legs all around. And she'll send it down for an icing. 8:12 remaining in the first overtime session.
Well, Elio, again, still looking like neither team want to make a mistake. They're playing very cautiously out there. And, usually in overtime, we get some kind of a mental lapse. The players get a little tired. That's usually what's going to get the deciding goal.
Yes, you are. A mental lapse usually decides these tight games, especially in overtime. Larocque sends it ahead to Graham. Graham chips it nicely to Chantal Larocque. Chantal Larocque sends it back to Graham, but Brine is there. Here comes Brine for the Shamrocks. Jen Brine just steamrolls her way right through, but Graham on the back check is there. Graham sends it ahead, and here comes Jocelyn Larocque from her defense position. With speed, makes a move, feeds it to Cockrell. Cockrell, wrist shot, goes wide. Hoffmeyer then picks it up off the rebound. Hoffmeyer, and you can see fatigue taking its toll as players are having difficulty maintaining possession on the stick handle. Nonetheless, O'Rourke to Becca King. Becca King with a nice move to her backhand. Shoots. Passfield with the save. King behind the net. Blanchard all over her. King still hangs on to it. Howard comes in. O'Rourke to help out King. King sends it into slot to Coates, who fires one just over the net. Back to the point. Dawson fakes the shot down low to Coates. Coates into the slot to King, and that's blocked by Blanchard. And Sheriff will just send it wide to a charging Megan Arts. Arts, and that's called on the ice as she couldn't get there in time. 6:38 remains in the first overtime session. Still, no winner decided as Manitoba and Toronto look for that one play to get them to the gold medal game tomorrow.
What a great opportunity there, and that was almost the one play. Fantastic pass out in front of the net, and a quick little shot, and just couldn't squeak it by the goaltender.
These teams have played over 80 minutes of hockey, and nothing to choose between them as Larocque feeds it through the slot. 1-1 in the round robin, 1-1 in the semifinal. Howard sends it down, little too far for Hoffmeyer. Roll all the way down, and icing is the call. 6:16 remaining. Overtime number 1.
Elio, we have a bit of an update from next door just to keep the fans watching the webcast for live updates. Vancouver is headed to a 5-on-3 power play for 1 minute and 30 seconds with 7 minutes left in the game.
Falcons try to get back on that one in the men's semifinal against the 2010 national champion Newfoundland Black Horse. Here, Manitoba Range with pressure. Becca King, covered by Diana Brown. Back to O'Rourke, who takes a shot, and that goes wide. Coates sends it back to the point to Squires. Squires with the shot, and that's deflected by King, just wide. O'Rourke, back to King. Manitoba with the edge in play the last couple of shifts. King still feeds a charging Jocelyn Larocque, who backhands it, and that's blocked by Brittany Smith, selling out for the block shot. That goes in front, and Diana Brown will try to send it out, and will. Delane Bryan leaves it for Becca King. King sends a stretch pass to Jocelyn Larocque, who feeds Chantal Larocque. Sheriff all over her, and she'll get possession. Melody Howard back to Blanchard, and does get it out. And on the break, Megan Arts with a chance in overtime. Pad save, Bryan. Arts to Sheriff. Sheriff looks for some room. Can't get it by. And Larocque will try to send it out, but won't. Mallory Johnston to Melody Howard. And Jocelyn Larocque doing yeoman's work on the back end for Manitoba. Graham to Becca King. That can't get through, but Graham with the rebound almost does. As the Shamrocks in a little bit of a flux here. Manitoba with pressure. Becca King. Larocque. Blanchard with a nice defensive play. 1-on-2 though. King and Larocque on Blanchard. Sheriff comes in to help. Sheriff will tip it ahead to Mallory Johnston. And she'll backhand it back to ease the pressure with 4 minutes remaining in the first overtime. Gloved ahead. Melody Howard takes it and gives it to Hoffmeyer. But Dawson is there. Dawson tries to get Becca King, who's at the end of a long shift. She'll need a change soon. Brittany Smith chases it down with Amy Coates. Smith rides Coates into the boards, and she'll get called for the roughing infraction in overtime as Manitoba with a glorious opportunity here. Not only do the Toronto Shamrocks take a 2-minute penalty, most likely one of their top players is going to have to serve it. So they'll lose their top penalty killer for this infraction. 2 minutes on the rough.
Yeah, the penalties definitely come back to haunt you, Elio. And, what do? You take a penalty. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. Unfortunately, Manitoba's going to get a good chance here. And, hopefully the Shamrocks goaltender, Passfield, can stand up to the test here.
Time will tell if that penalty can be killed by the Shamrocks. Larocque with the shot from the point, deflected in front by Cockerell, but Passfield, as she's done all game, stands tall in the Shamrocks goal. As Manitoba takes but 10 seconds to get their first glorious opportunity. Cockerell and Bryan on the draw. Graham sends it back. Dawson to Graham. Graham down low to Cockerell. Back to Graham. Manitoba. Still lots of time left in this man advantage. Dawson. She'll send it up high to Larocque. Down low to Chantel Larocque, who tries to send it through. And Cockerell was there, but Diana Brown, it was also there to deflect it out of harm's way. Chantel Larocque now. Taking her time. Back to Jocelyn, the quarterback. To Chantel Larocque. Up high. Still 1:10 remaining in this man advantage. Larocque will send it in, hoping for a deflection. Cockerell tries to send it across. And the Shamrocks are there to clear it. Dawson. 1 minute left in this power play. Larocque. Dawson shoots. Bryan with the block. And Bryan will try to clear it out, but can't. Dawson. Larocque one-timer. Just wide. Diana Brown is trying to freeze it by the net there and will succeed. 41 seconds remaining in this man advantage. 2:22 left in the first overtime frame.
Elio, we have an update from next door in the men's game. Vancouver goal on the power play by Harp Kelcat, assisted by Herman Sunner. It's 4-2 Newfoundland with under 4 minutes to play.
Still a game in the men's semifinal as the Vancouver Falcons have shaved that deficit to 2 with still 4 miles to go there. Here we're in overtime, the women's national semifinal. Toronto Shamrocks versus the Manitoba Rage. First period goal by Chantel Graham is equalized by a second period goal by Megan Arts. And we are at a deadlock here, trying to decide one of the participants for tomorrow's women's gold medal game. Coates sends it back to Larocque. Coates to Larocque. O'Rourke with the shot, and that's deflected just wide by Becca King. Mallory Johnston now fighting with Becca King for possession. McGlennon in there. Gets back to Jocelyn Larocque. Larocque is taken down and cleared by Mallory Johnston. 7 seconds left in the power play. And the Shamrocks should be at even strength. And they are 5-on-5 with 1:40 left in the first overtime. Manitoba back to the offense. Megan Arts to Brittany Smith. She'll take a shot on goal. Delane Bryan makes the save. O'Rourke just sends it back to LaRock. LaRock, who's played a pretty long shift here, having been on for the whole power play. Calms the situation down. 1:16 left in overtime, the first overtime session. Hoffmeyer there to block that clearance pass. Tips it in nicely. LaRock wheels it to Becca King. Becca King sends it up to Chantel LaRock, who'll send it in deep, and Graham gives chase. Graham and Diana Brown. Graham sends it back to the point. Coates can't get there, but Graham is there. Graham to the forehand. Deflected high over the net. Chantel LaRock behind the net with the wraparound, and Passfield with the save. Dawson. Coates. Graham tries to get something going in the slot, but Brittany Smith will have none of it. 25 seconds remaining. Smith chips it out, but not out. And Dawson sends it right back in as Chantel LaRock trying to regain possession for the Rage. Smith will just want to ice it with 10 seconds left, which will set up a crucial draw in the Shamrock zone with 6.5 seconds left in the first overtime period of this national semifinal.
Elio, and we have another update from the men's semifinal. The Vancouver Falcons appear to have a little bit of life left in them and score a goal with 2:47 to go. Daniel LaFortune, second of the game, with the assist to Sonny Gill for a 4-3 Newfoundland lead.
Interesting going-ons in the other semifinal, as there's a timeout on the floor here, but Newfoundland Black Horse with a 4-1 lead looked comfortable heading into their second gold medal game in 3 years, but the Vancouver Falcons, battling to the very end, have narrowed that gap to 1 goal. Here, we're 6.5 seconds away from another overtime period, Mike, and it looks as though, unless the Manitoba Rage can design something to be successful, that second overtime period beckons.
Well, they've certainly owned this period. You know, even despite the power play, they're putting a lot of pressure on. But the Toronto Shamrocks goaltender, Katie Passfield's standing up to the test, and as usual, the goaltender is always the team's best penalty killer.
Yes, Katie Passfield and Delane Bryan, both goalies, have been superlative today as Sheriff and Coates line up for the draw. Sheriff looks to just kill the clock, and a backhand is sent towards the net. And that ball is frozen by Passfield with 0.1 second remaining in the overtime period. So just a drop of the ball will take place here, and we'll have a second overtime frame. So at the end of the first overtime period in the women's 2012 Canadian Ball Hockey Championship semifinal, Manitoba Rage 1, Toronto Shamrocks 1. We'll be back with the second overtime period from Edmonton shortly. Newfoundland hanging on to that 4-3 lead. Less than a minute to play in the men's semifinal. As here, the Manitoba Rage and the Toronto Shamrocks still haven't decided a victor, as we are heading to the second overtime in a tantalizing semifinal game. First period goal by Chantel Graham, assisted by Jocelyn Larocque, gave the Rage a 1-0 lead, and then Megan Arts evens it for the Shamrocks, and that brings us to where we are now. Second overtime period underway. Larocque, Chantel Larocque, tries to get it ahead and does. Cockrell. Cockrell goes wide to Dawson. Dawson shoots towards the net and Passfield with the save. Brittany Smith sends it around to Jen Brine. Brine chips it ahead, but nice play there by number 16, Amanda Schnell. And Cockrell with an opportunity in the slot as Chantel Larocque almost ended it for the Rage. Back to Schnell. Brittany Smith now with possession. Smith sends it down for a stretch pass to Arts, but doesn't succeed. But here comes Smith. Smith sends it deep. 1 minute gone in the second overtime. Schnell up to Graham. Graham tries to get it by Hoffmeyer, and does, as Catherine O'Rourke with an opportunity. She shoots, and Passfield is there with the save. Back to Graham. Graham backhands it. Passfield with the save. And Sheriff takes her time for the Shamrocks. 8:30 left, second overtime. Winner goes on, loser goes home. Sheriff and Smith play give and go. Sheriff too far, and Larocque intercepts, but here comes Sheriff now. Sheriff trying to get something going, but good back checking by Becca King for Manitoba, and that'll thwart that opportunity. Larocque. Jocelyn Larocque up to Becca King. King with some space. Shoots. Just wide. Hoffmeyer. Hoffmeyer. Blanchard there to pick up the junk. And Sheriff will retreat and wait for Brittany Smith, who'll go for a run. Smith kicks it ahead. Chases it down with Coates. Coates is there first. Coates to Becca King. King. Blanchard intercepts. Sheriff to Chantel Larocque. Larocque. Displaced by Mallory Johnston. Johnston backhands to Sheriff. Sheriff. Sheriff with a nice fake. And she'll take her time, but she's going to be hounded by Cockrell. Blanchard tries to get it ahead and does to Brine. One-on-one with Larocque. Jen Brine shoots. And Delane Bryan covers that up. And we're still knotted at 1. 6:51 left in the second overtime.
Well, Elio, we have our final update from next door. The Newfoundland Black Horse have defeated the Vancouver Falcons 4-3. The Vancouver Falcons had a push at the end, pulled the goaltender out, but just couldn't make it happen. So the Newfoundland Black Horse are going on to the gold medal game, and the Vancouver Falcons are going on to the bronze medal game tomorrow.
Newfoundland Black Horse, congratulations to them. They'll be participating in the men's gold medal game. We're still waiting for one of the participants in the women's gold medal game. Brine. Put aside by Delane Bryan. Back to Brittany Smith. Brittany Smith sends it through blindly, and that almost caused some problems for the Manitoba keeper. 6:12 remaining, second overtime. Still 1-1, and it looks like, Mike, that maybe one of those unlucky goals might be the ones to clinch this one.
You know, you always get that feeling, and as a coach and a player, you always don't like to see a game ended like that, but you know, unfortunately sometimes it does end like that.
Back to play. Jocelyn Larocque with patience. Becca King. King. Coates. Shoots. And that just goes wide. Becca King. King with time. 5.5 left in the overtime. King, as this game is slowing down, fatigue has a factor. King shoots. Passfield with the save. And we're still deadlocked at 5:28 left in the second overtime. .528 remaining in the second overtime. Manitoba Rage 1. Shamrocks 1 as Passfield covers that ball up. 3 seconds expires as we have sudden death here in a packed house at Millwoods Recreation Center. Jen Brine now with the ball. Brine sends it in deep. Delane Brine leaves it for Coates. Coates to Jocelyn Larocque. Larocque sends it deep. A nice play by Blanchard to interrupt that. Larocque over to Chantel Larocque. She'll send it in deep, but nobody there but Mallory Johnston. Mallory Johnston to Sheriff. Blanchard. Here comes number 15, O'Rourke. O'Rourke is stood up by number 89, Sheriff. And O'Rourke will get the infraction, and it'll be high sticking. 4:31 left in the second overtime. And the Shamrocks will go to the power play.
This may just be the opportunity that they were waiting for, Elio. And, I don't recall us seeing a power play by Toronto tonight. Maybe one, if I recall. So we'll see what they can do on this attempt. Great opportunity with 4:31 left in the second overtime period.
Toronto Shamrocks with a 4-minute power play. 4:31 left in the second overtime session. The Manitoba Rage will have to find their penalty kill and find it in a hurry here. As the Shamrocks talking strategy. As looks like 4-on-3 hockey here as one-man advantage for the Shamrocks. Sheriff. Back to Brittany Smith. Lots of space out there, Mike. Sheriff. Sends it deep. Delane Bryan. Great playmaker with the ball, but sends it blindly on her backhand, and Bryan intercepts. 4-on-3 hockey. Sheriff. Smith. Fakes the shot. Back to Sheriff. Down low to Bryan. Sheriff to Smith, but she's on her off wing, and she'll get back to her right-handed shot. Smith shoots. Rebound. Brine. Score! Shamrocks make the final as Brine scores on the power play with 3:35 left in the second overtime session. And euphoria for the Toronto Shamrocks as they'll be in the women's national gold medal game. The opponent to be determined. And Mike, it was a matter of time on the power play as the Shamrocks patiently move the ball around, and they get the goal from Jen Brine, and they punch their ticket to the women's national gold medal game. Who they'll play, we'll find out shortly, as the other semifinal is taking place between the Vanier United, two-time defending champs, and the Quebec representative, Dec Hockey de la Capitale. But for now, full value to both teams on a great game. Manitoba Rage, so close. But only one team can advance to the gold, and that'll be the Toronto Shamrocks. Congratulations to Flora Panunzio and her Shamrocks, and also a big congratulations goes to Bernie Young and his Manitoba Rage, as they gave it all and only lost in the second overtime, 16-25 in to the extra added time. Shamrocks win. We'll be back with the 2012 Canadian Ball Hockey Championships with the National Men's Semifinal between the Montreal Red Light and the Calgary Phantoms after this.